What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the 4J's podcast, where we have four voices, endless takes, and just pure comedy with all of us. I'm Jamie, the first J. Then we got over the rest of our J's. We got Jonathan, aka Johnny Sachs. We got my brother Justin, my brother Jacob. All four brothers in here, and we ready to get into this week's topics and get everything rocking and rolling over here.
Hey everyone, I got some bad news for y'all. I was giving such straight facts and hot takes and just perfect predictions in this week's episode that someone hacked in and actually deleted my audio. I don't know who would do that, but they just said it was just too good for the public. But the other three did such a great job that we still wanted to upload this video for y'all. So we did remove my parts where I was just speaking and you can't hear anything. But stay tuned for a great episode, and thank y'all for your support.
So over the week, there was some kind of big news popping around in college football that we're ready to dive into. One of the big things was Michigan finally got hit with their punishment. So we finally got the details of their punishment, and the details broke down. They are hit with a $20 million fine with a $50,000 upfront fee. And basically, the way they said that the fine is going to break down is about 10% of their football budget each year for the next few years. They also, kind of some of the other bigger things that they got, 4 years probation. Coach Moore got a 3-game suspension, and then they have a 25% reduction in college visits for the 2025-2026 season. So in the grand scheme of things, all those are very huge implications. It's going to hurt, especially when it comes to recruiting. I mean, the name of the game right now is NIL. Talking about losing 10% of your budget each year due to NIL is huge. And so it's just crazy. Everybody's been kind of waiting to hear what that fine was going to be. Or actually, we just thought maybe suspension games and stuff like that. Oh, and another big part of the fine that I forgot to mention that is they also lost all postseason revenue for the next 2 years. So if they make college football playoffs, they don't make any postseason revenue for the next 2 years.
I wasn't too familiar about that one. I think that's going to be a big hit because that's where the money is for them, other than just the regular boosters. But having to not be able to collect that revenue from the playoffs, that's pretty major. Because especially like I said, that's wild. But no, it's deserved. It's deserved because at this point you have to set a precedent to make sure that no one else follows suits and think that it's going to be taken lightly. Even though it seemed like it was, because they did a self-imposed punishment, which I thought was kind of ridiculous. Because I mean, I feel like they knew that Harbaugh was going to be out the door in the end of the year, so it didn't really matter to them.
He chose 2 games.
Two games.
He chose 2 games, and the NCAA added another game for next season. So they added one more game for next season. It's where the 3 games.
But if we're being honest, in like the grand scheme of things, like I don't think this really doesn't really hurt them too much.
No, because I don't think so, because they're still able to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It obviously, I don't really think that's going to hurt with like finances when it comes to recruiting, because Michigan has deep pockets. We all know
they'll just add more to the budget to fix it.
But so this is my combat to that. So yes, they got deep pockets to pay this fine. It's a $20 million fine. They got deep pockets over there. They're one of the blue bloods. They do, but that's $20 million that could be going into your players' pockets. That's $20 million. So you're going to be asking your boosters, "Hey, we need this little extra plus some because we still got to sign these kids."
I'm pretty sure they're still happy to pay that because they still got the national championship. They didn't revoke that. Yeah, I mean, like they don't. I think this was just like, it's $20 million.
I was just about to say, I don't even think that they had to allocate money from other places or to even ask more money from sponsors. Yeah. I think that was already in the purse. Like this is think about it. This Michigan is a top program.
Yeah.
I don't think that they had to do all of that. That's why I don't think that this is this could be, I wouldn't say laughable punishment, but it's just not up to the standards with what I feel like is NCAA football.
No, for sure.
Yeah, because they're still landing top recruits, man. So it doesn't even nothing helped right now. Like I said, if they would have been able to go to the postseason, then that definitely for sure would have hurt them for probably up to 4 years. Just because they would have lost a lot of recruits when it came to that. But I don't know, man. Like I said, I think the NCAA kind of does what it wants to. Depends on who it is. So that's another conversation for another day, though.
No, for sure. And another team that was in the news a couple different times this week, Auburn, the Auburn Tigers. They did the thing. They did a thing that I respected. They did retire Cam Newton's jersey, although some people are upset about that. Some people are upset about that because they said he was 1 year and done. But to me, his 1 year is the best college football season, single season performance by any player in history.
Hands down.
I thought it was well deserved. I thought it was a well deserved. Although it does, only one question I do have is it does come into question they're retiring the jersey, and Deuce Knight did come out and ask him to wear his number, and now they're retiring the number and not even giving him a chance to do it. And he's supposed to be their next coming 5-star, all this kind of stuff. So I'm kind of curious how he feels about that. Like, do you feel a little jaded or not? Because you did ask Cam and said, I'll try to earn it.
And his name's Deuce, right?
His name's Deuce, right? Deuce Knight. So
my thing with those, with the jersey thing is,
retire it, right?
That's what they're going to do. No. Well, he could, yes. But that beats the purpose of being retired. How you going to retire something but still allow someone to use it? Like I said, before Cam got there, obviously, like I said, he was already in the SEC at Florida, did a junior college, and came in and already from day one made a big impact. To the 6'6" quarterback with 250. That was unheard of in SEC at the time. And from day one, he made a big impact to the offense. And who's to say there was no other all-stars on that team that got them down to the BCS national title game? And obviously, in the same field, beat Alabama. That's probably one of the best Alabama teams to date. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely for sure. Yeah.
That was the Alabama team that they took a couple lumps early, but at the end of the year, nobody really wanted to play that Alabama team. And I mean, even they showed it at that Auburn game, the comeback. That's the name of the game because they put on that whooping. Yeah. They put on the whooping in the first half and showed, hey, we're that team. But Cam Newton, being who Cam Newton was, came in. They did his thing.
But at the end of the day, I think Auburn did right by Cam by allowing his jersey to be retired because, like I said, he brought them the last title. He brought them the last title that was hard earned, a fall on the gridiron, and I don't think anybody put the numbers he has and made the impact on at Auburn that he has. So I think it was right by Cam. They did right by him.
No, for sure. I agree with that, and I think, the only argument you can truly have about not retiring his jersey is he was a one and done. But again, the one season he gave was arguably the best single season of college football any athlete has ever done
by any quarterback.
Just because
by any quarterback,
exactly, because that team he was on. Yeah, because the team he was on I think there's only been one guy on that team had one game that he started in the NFL. Other than that, nobody on the team on his offense played in the NFL, any meaningful minutes in the NFL. That is crazy to think about. They won a national championship. It's just crazy to think about. But speaking of national championships, Auburn also made the news because they have now decided that they were going to add national championships. They decided to add the 1910 national championship, 1914 national championship, 1958, and 2004. And the reason being, they said that they were going to do what other universities have done and claim national championships that have been claimed in similar styles throughout. My feeling on them claiming national championships, the one from 58 and before, it doesn't really bother me as much because, like they said, other teams do it. What bothers me, though, is you waited till 2025 to do it. What made you make that decision now? Like, if you did it in the 90s, because really and truly, the 90s, 80s, that's when all of them were doing it. If you would have done it then, nobody would have questioned you because everybody was doing it. Everybody was claiming their national championships. Or actually, they were claiming it during the time. So why didn't you claim it during the time? But the one that really, really irks me and really bugs me is the 2004 one. because there was a national championship. Like teams don't claim national championships anymore since we created the national championship. The reason all these teams have multiple years with other teams, both teams claiming national championships, is there wasn't a true national championship played there. Like I know what you can go through history and see a lot of that. But once you hit where we established a national championship, even though I do think that 2004 Auburn team could have won a national championship, but there was a national championship played and one of the greatest national championships in history with that Texas and USC team, which were both phenomenal teams. But again, it's not. There was a national championship played. You can't claim it. That's like UCF's national championship that they claim because they
nowhere
went
even near.
the other team.
That's
No,
what I was
everybody
saying.
laughs
They're the
about
one that claimed it. They have claimed it within the last, what was that, 2018 or something like that, right?
2017.
2017. And it baffles me, man, because like what only thing I can say is yes, they were undefeated, but at the time of they're in a conference that just didn't allow them to, I guess, make it to that big stage. So, but still, they still were undefeated. So that goes back to the question of like the powerhouses of each conference. Like, like yeah, we did this in our conference, but we still didn't have the opportunity to make it to the big stage. So I guess since we were undefeated, we're gonna claim one because they did this back in the day. The NCAA, did they recognize that?
I think they do recognize it. They're the co-owners.
I don't think that I'm not sure about the 2004 one. I know for the other ones, the reason they said they claim them is because the NCAA did recognize them as because there were certain newspapers, certain places that did a national championship voting every year. And so that's why I said the older one doesn't. The only thing that bothers me about the older ones is why'd you wait till 2025 to claim them? Like, why didn't you claim them then, just like everybody else did? Nobody would have questioned this. Or I guess they would have questioned it because everybody likes to poke fun at Bama because if you look at Bama, some of the national championships they claim, Bama claims 18 really and truly. There's like 6 that are questionable on there because like they didn't have great records or 3 lost seasons and stuff. So you can poke at that, but like nobody really pokes at it because they were doing what everybody was doing. This newspaper said we were national champions. We're national champions.
Oh, we're going to claim it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'll do
why
that.
did Auburn wait till 2025 to do it? And then the 2004 one, I just can't get over it. And especially when you have in the national championship in 2004 was Texas and USC. USC in 2003 went to Auburn and whooped Auburn. So technically you have a little bit of precedent saying the year before, and I know every year it's a different team, but the year before they whooped Auburn in Auburn. So it's like, could they have beat them? I think that Auburn team was legit.
Oh, you're sure. Cadillac, Ronnie Brown, Jason Campbell. I love Jason Campbell, man. I hate what he did to us, but at the same time, the guys they had athletes, man. You couldn't deny it. But
it would have been great to see. It would have been great to have a college football playoff then to see what could have been because those 3 teams, you really could have flipped a coin on. I mean, even that Texas versus USC game, it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't a domination anywhere. So it could have been whoever you.
It was a heavyweight. It was a heavyweight matchup, man. Like it's just too big to fail, man. It's just, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, being up in front in SEC, Auburn, they had a squad. I can give it to them, yes, but it just blows my mind. It's crazy, but like I said, if they keep rolling with the story, about 5 years from now, we're gonna just be like, man, let's let them have it. So they're gonna literally be claiming 9 titles, even though you go back to 2004, because there's film back from 2004 of who played in the national title game, and you're like, dang, they don't look like no freaking orange and that god awful blue. Like, I don't see any of them out here, But it's a delusion that feeds people, man. Like, just if the delusion, that's all it is, just to make them feel good. Like you said, relevancy. They have to do something. They're scratching and clawing just to get their name back out there because they're little brother to Alabama. So you got to do what you got to do to say you're relevant. Because they haven't had a winning season since 14. 14.
No, it ain't been that long.
It ain't been that
You
long.
don't think?
No, because
I'm just it's not good. Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I can't remember.
I wanted it to sound good just because 2004 or years before that, we can't remember, so I'm gonna make up anything. You know what I'm saying? So if I can make it up, and I'm gonna make up when last time they've been good. Fuck it.
Bruh,
you know what?
1910 and 1914, before World War II, you're claiming those? That is crazy.
I wonder, were they even called Auburndale? Because they used to be called something. Weren't they like an architectural or something like that school before? Like they had their name changed. So like, were they even officially Auburn then? Like,
still is a cow college, man. That's all it is, you know.
Wait,
I have a question.
That's before World War I as well. Oh my goodness. They're going back in time. Good God. Go ahead. Go
ahead, Jamie.
I also have one other thing on this topic before we get off of them is I think this could be a little bit too, because it came after they retired Cam's jersey. And I wondered if they thought that was going to change the news cycle. But I'm wondering if they're trying to get some of the news cycle off their quarterback battle right now, because it seems like that's a big question mark going into this Baylor game, which is going to be a big one for them. So I wonder if they were like, let's get a little bit of pressure off everybody just talking about a quarterback. Let's do something else. How do we do that? Let's claim national titles that we never have. Like, you know, like, so let's do this. Now, even us, we're talking about them doing this versus, hey, y'all, quarterback is a question mark and your coach is bashing them to the media before we even start the season, like hinting that you need to bench him before he even stepped on the field. Like, so it's like, I don't know. It's one of those interesting things. But anyway, speaking of quarterbacks and football, we finally had some football this week, which was super exciting. Felt great to be able to watch college football and tournament games this week. Last week we had a couple of different games, and since we only had 5 games last week, each week on the 4J's podcast, we are going to do our predictions. So we picked 5 games last week to do the predictions on, and let's just say I'll pull up the results real quick. But little Jacob over here,
let me say this as well. If Kansas State's coach could actually call a game, I would be 5-0. I would be 5-0. If he took his 2 field goals that he was supposed to take, I will be 5-0. That's all I gotta say. Also, where you at? You were calling me out last week. Where you at? Oh, Hawaii ain't gonna do nothing. Where you at now? Where you at now? I called it. My Rainbow Warriors did it.
Vegas made that phone call. Made that phone call, bro. We already know about that.
No. Come on. Give me my flowers.
Wait. Pump the brakes.
Give me my flowers.
Before we get into the games, because I do want to go through each of these games, but to give him his flowers, after week 1, Jacob is leading at 4-1. When it comes to these predictions, we'll see how it goes. We'll keep a running tally throughout the season and see how we go. But let's dive into the game.
Can we also talk about both teams cannot cover to save their lives? Almost every touchdown was them. Let's just throw it up deep because their secondary can't hold water.
No, I won't say that.
I told y'all.
I won't say that. I think what that happened was that game was, I mean, the rain, the field conditions, everything was bad. I truly think a lot of those busted coverages were, everybody thought, I mean, they didn't, the first quarter, I think both quarterbacks at one time were like 4 for 10. Like they couldn't hold on to the ball. They couldn't catch the ball. I mean, the announcer kept saying, take your gloves off, do this, because the field was so wet. So I think a lot of the busted coverages and the touchdowns came from, hey, they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. Caught DBs peeping their heads in the backfield, and then a busted coverage came through there. I think that's where it came from.
I agree, Jamie.
So, I'm sorry.
Where's it at? Athleticism, bro. Like,
also,
come on,
you're
man.
having trouble scoring and you're going for it on 4th down instead of taking your 3 points. That's my only issue with it.
That was my
Take the
question
point.
because that changed that would have changed, especially
Everything.
like Kansas State. I know they did it twice. That would have changed how Iowa State would have had to respond to you versus being able to. They did a good job of kind of sticking to the game plan, throwing the short routes, and they're putting drives together where it felt like Kansas State was like doing the drives, but then they would take 2 or 3 shot plays in a row, and it was just like the game was still close. Like, what are you doing? Like, keep chugging along. But I mean, that game, the weather was ugly. Like, it was.
Also, I would say I do think they kind of cheated Kansas State a little bit on the 4th one. Yeah, that 4th and 1. Also, the lineman just didn't pick up that block. I'm like, he could have gotten the first down if the lineman picked up the block, but he got cracked. Yeah, we need the NFL measurements because ain't no way it was that far away.
Well, speaking of measuring, did you see how the paint on the field just washed away? Like, it was just like, they're just running around on a regular field, no lines on the field, nothing. Like,
yeah, me and Justin were looking at it. We were like,
back in the day.
we were like, how we know it's on the 37? There ain't nothing there.
We just gotta trust them.
Yeah, I was trusting them.
Little backyard. It's a church ball game right there.
But no, I give Kansas State their props. I give both teams their props because they both did fight to the end. Like, I ain't gonna lie, when I saw Iowa State score and go up 10 at the end, I was like, oh, this game's over. Like, there's no chance. And then Kansas State comes back instantly with the shot. But then the defense decided to quit playing in the next series too. I was like,
they could not stop a run. They could not stop the run. You know what was coming. And then when you hit really hard on it, you got beat over top, and it's just like, bro, you gotta pick one struggle.
There was a lot of you could tell that was the first game.
Yeah.
But for a game, kind of like we said, with the Big 12 being so wide open and so anybody could win that league, that game's going to have huge implications. Like, that game needs to be starred. That's going to be a huge win for Iowa State and Kansas State. They still in it. Like, it's just one game, but it's still like that game's going to have huge implications, and it was ugly. But on to the next game. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I feel it's going to be a good game, man. Especially you got a conference play week, like week 0. You got they exceeded my expectations when it came up to the actual game. Even though y'all said about coaching, but still very good competitive game though, and they did that. I like that.
Well, no, for sure. But saying bad coaching, so it was a great game and hard fought game watching.
Yeah,
it was an entertainment game to watch. But being a football purist, the coaching, there was a lot of questionable coaching calls. Going for it on 4th down, not taking points. So that part of it, but it was fun. It did make it fun to watch because both coaches did it at some points. At both times, I'm like, take your points. Like, this game is ugly. Take your points. And then, but then again, Iowa State missed the field goal too. So it's like we tried to take our points. This is what happened. So maybe we need to go for it. It was an ugly game, but it was fun to watch. It was a great start to the season.
I don't do no points, no kick, nothing. We're going for 2, and we're going on 4th and 32. I'm going for it every time.
No, for sure. And then the next game to kick off, and it was a game we kind of all threw away to the wayside, that UNLV Idaho State. We were like, oh, this game is a blowout.
Yes. That's the one we were going back and forth about, though. Yeah. We were going back and forth about that one.
But no, we didn't. We all thought UNLV. We said maybe, but we were joking about it. But we all of us picked UNLV easy and said it was going to be a blowout. That game was not no blowout. One score game, and as sad as it is, Dan Mullen looked like Dan Mullen. I got an offense that can put up 50, but I got a defense that can give up 52. It's like, good gosh. It was fun. It was fun, but it should not have been that close.
3 interceptions?
No, definitely not. It definitely should have been.
3 interceptions.
3 picks. But that's the system he's always ran as a coach. He wants his quarterbacks to sling it around and just throw the ball and not not really think about it. Just I want you to play loose. I want you to throw the ball, and that's what he did. And Orgy's their quarterback. The transfer from Michigan. He didn't look bad, but them three interceptions were bad. But he didn't look bad. But it's the defense. Like you gave up 31 points, and we all kind of were a little bit high on them, thinking that they were going to be a pretty solid Group of 5 team. But giving up 31 to Idaho State makes me. I know you had 3 interceptions, but it still makes me question that because it's like
no. Idaho State had 3 interceptions.
Oh, you're correct. You're correct. Sorry. I get them mixed up. But like Orgy, like I said, didn't look bad, but it's like 3 interceptions and you only won by 7.
Yeah, that is
first game jitters, man. That's all I can tell up to. First game jitters for everybody on board, I guess.
Also, I want to say Idaho State thrown the ball 50 times. What does that say about your secondary?
That's college football today.
Yeah,
that's college football today
for sure. If you got a quarterback that can throw it, and you know your run game is not what it needs to be, but fuck it, we airing it out. We airing it out every time. I'm throwing the ball.
I don't know. I'm more of a. I want to run first. I want to get the run established before I start passing the ball. I feel like that's what they really need.
I think they knew they were outmatched on the line, though.
Oh yeah,
that's where that comes in.
Yeah,
for sure.
On the way.
And then the next game we picked that Kansas Fresno State game, and this game, hey, Kansas came out. I knew Daniel was going to be good, but like I even doubted that because I was the lone wolf that picked Fresno State only because I thought they would make the game interesting. I thought it was going to be first game blues, kind of like we saw in the other games because there was ugly play in both of the first 2 games. So I was like, first game blues, it's going to be tight. It could be a toss up. Kansas looked midseason form. Them jokers, that defense.
Yeah. I told y'all that because last year they were a solid team. Last year they lost. They had some hiccups. Like they lost a couple games that they really shouldn't have lost. I feel.
Yeah.
But they're a solid team, and that's why I was like Kansas.
Them boys did a steam rolling, my boy. God, mighty boy. Look, man, they messed up my whole little outfit I had going on with my spread. I look at my bet app and I just like, man, God dang, Kansas. God dang, boy.
It's definitely a team. Kansas is a team I'm going to watch this year. After week 1, they got my interest because, and again, they're in that conference. I've said the Big 12's wide open, but after watching Iowa State and Kansas State, who were both favorites, 2 of the favorites to win it, and I know it's week 1 and it's way too early prediction, but Kansas looked better than both of them. Like,
yeah.
And I know that I need to see both of them. I need to see both of them in better conditions because it was wet and all that kind of good stuff. But Kansas right now, we ain't seen anybody else play, but they look like the team to beat in the Big 12. So I'm ready to see them. They got a little cupcake game this coming up week against Wagner, and then they go to Missouri.
So we're gonna see some real competition then. We're gonna see some real.
So
we'll
get to see them. We'll get to see them in 2 weeks against Missouri.
And
the way Kansas is playing, like I'm not doubting them in that game. They're a solid team, but they're a team. They're a team in the Big 12 that I'm excited to keep watching this year to see if it was just was it a bad Fresno State team or did Kansas just look that good? But to me, the way that defense was hanging around, the way Daniels was commanding the football, it didn't look like Fresno State couldn't get anything started. So they're gonna be a fun team to watch.
I do. I'm looking at their schedule now. They have a real good chance of making the playoffs. Even if they have like a close loss to Missouri, I feel like they have a really good chance to making the playoffs, even if they don't win their conference. I feel
the Big 12's wide open, and so that's it. They're one of the toughest leagues if you're looking at them to pick, and so they're in a good situation. And we haven't seen the rest of the Big 12, but right now they look like they got a squad together, so it'll be fun to watch. Then the next game, we had another conference game to kick off the year, was that Sam Houston WKU game that we all picked, and we were 2-2 on this one. 2-2 on this one again. Me and Jacob picked the WKU because I told y'all they are a strong team, and they're playing at home, and they're a strong team. They're not a cupcake team. Them Hilltoppers, them little red Hilltoppers look like a used tampon. Their mascot does sometimes. Little Hilltoppers, but them boys can play some football there. And like I said, I'm from UAB. We used to have to play them. They were in our division. We used to play them all the time. They were always a tough play. And it was a good game until the end. It's just Sam Houston. It was like WKU just kind of wore them out, and kind of finally took it over at the end. But that was also a good football game to kind of get through the end of the night with. It was good, close until the end. And then if you look at the scoreboard, WKDU did pull away, but that wasn't, if you didn't watch the game, it was back and forth up until halfway through the third quarter. It really was.
Yeah, that's that. I remember I said it. I said I'm picking them because I picked them in NCAA, but there was a reason I picked them in NCAA. They were good. They were good on them. I saw they had a squad on them, and that's why I picked them as well. And I thought their quarterback was gonna have a breakout year. I'm telling you, you think I'm crazy, but listen. Y'all laughing at me, but I'm number one in pick.
I'm
number one in pick.
Yeah, you got it, bro. You got it.
I'm just saying, I had them.
Last
year they had some squad, and I was feeling it. I was like, they my squad, and I'm gonna run with my squad.
I'm gonna stick beside them.
I told you. They had some really good receivers out there. I do feel like they had some really good. They had some dogs out there.
Yeah, no, and they wore Sam Houston down. Like I said, it was a good game, but you could just tell one team was a little bit more conditioned. One team had a little bit more solid game plan. And when they took the lead, in the third quarter, and they kind of said, no, it's time for us to put our foot down. We're not letting them like this happen anymore. So it was a really good game. And then that nightcap game that had all of us a little upset with some of the decision making, some things that happened with it. At Stanford Hawaii game,
Rainbow Warriors.
Again,
baby.
We talked about play calling in the first game. We could talk about play calling, coaching in that second game, because I have so many questions for what Stanford decided to do, because it just didn't make no sense. it didn't make no sense.
What did I tell y'all? I told y'all Stanford going over to Hawaii is going to discombobulate them. They're not going to be in the right head. They're not going to be used to the weather. And what did they go out there and do? Did look trash.
I got a question for y'all. What would y'all do if your player did a 7-second emote after he sacked the quarterback to send it to 3rd and 32, sacks the quarterback, and then he decided to do I was like, at the first, that's what I'm saying. The first time he did it, I was like, oh, that's cool. I like it. And then he kept going. It kept going. I was like, none of your teammates like, bro, what you 7 seconds? He celebrated for 7 seconds.
Scholarship revoked. Scholarship gone. That man got his master's already.
Let that man celebrate.
That man got his master's, bro. He done for it.
He needed to do it a little bit longer.
That led to points at the end of the half. It led to a touchdown at the end of the half. And then my biggest question for the Stanford coaches, the question, and I think everybody kind of has it. You went on a drive and handed the ball off, 15 times straight. Like, didn't throw a single pass play. Handed it off. Switch it back. Handed it off. Drove straight down the field, scored a touchdown. The next drive, you started that way, handed off 6 straight times, driving straight down the field, no issues. And then you throw a pass and get an interception. And yes, that was a very athletic play. Like that DN, how many times can your DN take a full bullet pass, block it, catch it in the same sense? Like that was a very athletic play. Don't get me wrong. But why on God's green earth were you even throwing the football when Hawaii had no answer for your run? Like, I would have said, run it till you stop me. And you had just ran for 10 yards and got a first down. And you said, I guess they stopped us. Like it didn't make no sense. You just did it the drive before. Keep running it. Especially, it'd been one thing if your passing game had been going. But it's the fourth quarter. It was, 2 minutes left in the game at that point. Keep handing the ball off and just milk the clock, get out of here. But no, you throw a pass, give them plenty of time, and they go down the field, score. ball game. Like, I have so many questions on why they decided to pass the ball there. It made no sense whatsoever. And God, that was just an ugly game. Man, that was an ugly game.
What can I say? I just know ball. That's what I just have to say. I just know ball. I know what's gonna happen. I just know ball.
God. Oh God.
Listen,
Look.
I know ball.
But
I'm a
let him have
savant.
it. He
Like,
can
I
have
don't
it.
know.
Let him have it.
Yeah, he got week 1. He got week 0. He got week 0.
We got week 0.
We'll see you next week. I'll see you next week. I'll see you next week when I'm still number 1 next week. Come holler at me. I'm gonna keep track too. Like y'all tell me, I'm gonna keep track too.
Yeah. Since we got last week in the past, though, real football starts this week.
Yo.
I am so excited. We got a slate of games. Like, we got Texas, Ohio State. We got Clemson, LSU. We got Alabama, Florida State. Like, we got a slate of football games coming at us. And I don't know about y'all, but I already told my wife, I was like, you best believe we are doing absolutely nothing on Saturday. And we go watching football.
I already called out of work. I called out of work. I got plans the whole day.
But we even got good football, though. But yeah, no, we even got good football. Starting in the week, they got Thursday night matchups. You see, I got the Blazers on. We play on Thursday night. But, like, we got Nebraska, Cincinnati. Like, that's a pretty solid game. We got football starting literally.
They moved the Auburn game, didn't they, to Friday? I think they did move it to Friday, right?
Friday, we got some solid games as well. We get to watch UNLV again against Sam Houston, 2 teams we already talked about this week. So we get to see them on Friday night. But I'm just excited about football. We got Friday night, you got that Georgia Tech Colorado matchup. Like, there's just a lot of games. And literally starting Thursday, you can watch football all day. I will be at the UAB game on Thursday, so I won't be watching the other games. But I am so excited for football to officially. Week 0 is fun, but it feels like football's here this week. Like, I got that giddy little kid before Christmas feel this week. But speaking of the big games, so let's talk about some of the big games that we got this week. So the biggest game of the week, Ohio State, Texas.
A 1-2 matchup.
1-3. 1-3
matchup.
Yeah, should be 1-2. Should be 1-2, but somehow Penn State's ranked ahead of Ohio State that is defending the national championship. So, but that matchup, I'm ready to see. You get to see Ohio State starting a new quarterback, bringing in, got a great receiving core, but starting a new quarterback, kind of seeing what he does in the system, replacing a lot of good talent on defense. But then on the flip side, you got Texas also starting a new quarterback, kind of. He did get a couple starts last year, replaced their full receiving core. They lost both of their major production last year, replacing a very solid running back. So it's two teams that were at the top of college football last year, were in the college football playoff last year. Like, we got to see two teams that are really solid, but also two teams that you don't know what their identity is this year because they're replacing so much of what they had that it's kind of like a clean slate almost when it comes to watching them. So it's going to be a fun one to watch, and I'm ready to kind of see how it plays out. But yeah,
I think it's going to be a bunch of mistakes this game, just because, like you just mentioned, like everybody clean house as much. So I think this is. I wouldn't say it's going to be like a air ball, just throwing the ball, running the ball down the field on both sides. But I do just think it could be a lower scoring game, just because of that. But I don't know. I wouldn't put too much excitement into this game just because of that. But still, I'll give them credit because they're number 1 and number 3 though. So I'm gonna give them my attention because the first big game, college game, that's gonna be there. Gonna be a hoopla and stuff like that. So
On the flip side of that, even though my bold prediction for the year is kind of similar to what you said, Arch Manning isn't going to be what he is. I think this game is going to turn out into, because of all the pieces being replaced by both teams, I think this game is going to turn into who makes the least mistakes. Because it's the first game of the season. We're getting there. And with that being said, Arch has played some college football. Julian Sagan hasn't. He was a great recruit. He was recruited to Alabama originally. Like, he's a great recruit, great kid, has a lot of really good potential, for sure. Everybody's seen it, but we haven't seen it on the college football field where Arch has played meaningful minutes. He did have 2 games started last year. He's had meaningful minutes. And in game 1, in that environment, all the stuff going around, I think that could prevail Arch in this situation when you go quarterback to quarterback. But as a whole, it's going to be interesting to watch it, because on the flip side to that, Julian Sagan's throwing to a receiving core who's still pretty much the same receiving core. Arch is throwing to brand new, trying to, but again, he could have been establishing with them, getting second team reps and stuff like that. So it's going to be a fun one to watch, but we got a bunch of games. But it'll be interesting. And they're playing early too, which I know the Big Ten likes to do that. They're the 11 a.m. kickoff.
I'll be on my TV into the glued to it.
I'll put my thoughts into it as well. I feel like both teams are going to have trash quarterback play. Terrible, horrendous quarterback play. Julian, he went to Ohio State because he was a reject from Bama, just like Caleb Downs. He cost us the national championship against Michigan. Just saying. He really sucks. Just saying. Gold jacket. Don't know where you see it. Arch Manning, I feel like he's going to be an average quarterback. I feel like everybody say he's going to be really bad. I feel like he's going to be an average quarterback. I got to say that because he might end up on my team. I'm just saying. But I feel like he's going to be pretty average. Julian, I don't think he's going to be good. I think he's a little undersized, right? I think he's not that tall. I think he's like 6'1"?
He's 6'1". Yeah, he's 6'1".
He's not that big of a quarterback, I feel. So I feel like he's going to struggle a little bit. But also with Ohio State losing a lot of key pieces on defense, I think that's going to hurt him. Jack Sawyer came to the Steelers, He's absolute dog. Absolute dog. Like, was the captain of the team, really held that team together, really won them the national championship. If you remember, he was the one that picked up the ball against Texas and ran it back to ice the game. Just saying. And I think it's going to be a really good matchup. And but yeah, that's what I have to say about it.
Cool. But there's a lot of good matchups. Again, like, talk about matchups that going to have implications. Like, you got Tennessee and Syracuse kicking off, and whereas that Syracuse team, for some people, might not jump out. Look what they did at the end of last year. I mean, the famous, looking at the coach, looking at the camera after they get that big win at the end of the game, saying, "Dabo, you're welcome," because he essentially knocks it. I'm drawing a blank on the team name right now, but he knocks the team out of contention, which puts Clemson in to the ACC championship, which eventually gets Clemson in to the college football playoff because they didn't have a chance. It was Miami.
I was about to say.
At the end of the year. Yeah, they knocked Miami off at the end of the year, which was a phenomenal game. But that Syracuse team, they lost early last year, but at the end of the year, they were a team nobody wanted to play. Like, realistically, nobody wanted to play. And they did lose quarterback and they did lose some stuff, but they got them coaching and watching playing. They are going to be a good team. In Tennessee, yes, replacing a lot. They shouldn't, they're replacing a lot and stuff like that too, but they were a playoff team last year. That's a sneaky good game to pay attention to if you're just watching. And again, it's 11 o'clock kickoff. There's literally good football all day long. So it's like the 11 o'clock kickoff. That's another interesting one that I'll have a split screen watching both of those. And then looking at some of the other games that we're going to have watching as well, there's one that if you see Johnny Sacks flag sitting there hanging up, and if you look at Justin, he's got the Eagles shirt on, but it's a certain player he's wearing on there. They got the old Mr. Hurts over here. We got that Alabama-Florida State game. Now, I don't know about y'all. Alabama's been quietly humble, and Florida State has been saying a lot of stuff in the news. And to me, I don't understand why some of the stuff that they're saying, why you would poke at a team this year. Like, why are you poking at people this year? Like the quarterback, and he tried to walk back his comments sometimes, but then he also, this past week, I don't know if y'all heard the news clip or not, but this past week he said, yeah, the way our defense is, I think I practice against the best defense I'm going to face the entire year. That's a quote from his mouth. Then also saying that, saying Nick Saban's not there, so they ain't got nobody to protect them. You're giving them motivation that you didn't need to give them. That's just,
they already had the chip on their shoulder too.
Do any of y'all got the number to NCAA? Because we need to call them and tell them they drug test that boy. Or he got a concussion one. He got a concussion one.
A psychiatrist, because
he just it's yapping out the mouth, because like you talking about Alabama, one of the top programs in the country, and coming off of the year that y'all had last year, it's probably by far one of the worst seasons y'all have had in the past few years, actually, more than that. So I don't understand what is his logic coming behind his statements that he's making, and his accusations that he's just going to come out and dominate Alabama, and his Florida State defense is the best defense that he's going to see. Yeah, obviously that means that he's not seeing too much. If that defense is the best one he's going to see, so that sounds like going to be a bunch of problems for him the rest of the year. Especially if we get that running game going, man. I think everything else is going to come back flawless, because obviously he's no Jay Lamiro when it comes to using his legs. I can't really vouch for his arm yet, but his legs, we know that's not the case. But like I said, we have too much on the wide receiver group and the running back depth to even play around with some team I am Florida that thinks they're just gonna be so dominant this year. I don't get it. I don't get the delusion just because, well, like you said, since Nick Saban left, I think we're just a downfall now. Everything's going downhill. Oh, we're not the gold standard anymore. All this bull crap. But still, like I said, Nick Saban's going his second year. People still saying they won't ban him. So
I also got a question. I mean this with like no disrespect, but didn't Buddy get benched last year as well? Like he got benched. Like, bro, you
No, you bump the brakes. He's a transfer from Boston College, and he's undersized. He is undersized, but he's pretty solid. He's pretty solid. Did he get
okay? But
I watched him play because they were fun.
Is it yes or no? Did he or did he not get benched last year at Boston College? Didn't someone else take his spot? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, he did have Bill O'Brien. I'm gonna let him pass.
I say, Bob, you gotta.
I am worried about Florida State. The only reason being we are playing in Florida State, and some voodoo magic out there can happen. They can, some stuff can go wrong very easily, like the Vanderbilt game. Like they get little stuff here and there, and
also, like I said, he's 5'11". He's 5'11", listed at 201. So realistically, he's probably like what, 5'10", 5'9", 190. But if he is a mobile quarterback,
he is.
Bama has always struggled with mobile quarterbacks, and he's little too, so he can hide back there. So I can see that being a problem.
Till kickoff, they're gonna keep it close till kickoff.
I gave him more grace. I give them a quarter, just so they can fill each other out, man. And then, like I said, I think after that, it's just gonna be a good old show. Old Trape and belt the ass, BTA.
But we talk about Florida State, and one thing I was just looking up because I remember it. The last few times they played teams from the state of Alabama at home, have not been very great games for them. And I bring that up because the great team of Jackson State went down to Florida State at home on 9/11 in 2021 and beat Florida State on a walk-off touchdown. In 2023, they played the team of North Alabama, and they did blow them out. Don't get me wrong. But the game was a close game into the second quarter, and what happened in that game? Their quarterback snaps his leg, and that ends their playoff hopes and put Alabama into the college football playoffs because of said broke leg. So if you look, when they play teams from Alabama in Florida State, they haven't had great memories of recent history. So saying that it's just because it's a team from we're going to be at Florida State doesn't really hold them because they don't have great memories of teams from Alabama on that football field. But anyway,
I think it's going to continue past Saturday.
but that's that middle of the day game. So again, another great matchup for the middle of the day. Then we kind of go to the end of the game and another big game that I'm ready to see that I think will have college football playoff implications is that LSU Clemson game. And that game's going to be interesting. You got two of the dominant coaches in college football playing. Clemson is returning a lot, but LSU is also returning a lot. So, and it's another top 10 matchup. It's crazy to think week one we're getting two top 10 matchups. Another top 10 matchup, and one I'm very, very excited to see. It's also the Battle of Death Valley because both teams call their home stadium the Death Valley.
Battle of the Death Valley.
Battle of the Death Valley. I am tuned in, and that's a great way. Another way. I mean, I know there's games after that, but that's a great night game to finish the kind of the day. Although there's one more other game I'm gonna pick out, but I kind of want to know y'all's thoughts on kind of where y'all sitting with that LSU Clemson thing.
So where are they playing in Clemson?
Playing in Clemson.
They're playing in Clemson.
Can we also bring up all these other conferences always talking about the SEC this, SEC that, right? They play cupcake games. Why do we always have to go to your stadiums to play y'all, we always got to go to your stadiums to play y'all because, we're such a easy thing that y'all can just beat anytime, apparently.
To be fair, Jacob, to be fair, brother, who wants to go to the real Death Valley and at a night game? At a night game,
yeah, you're right.
With them boys down there, who want to do that?
You're right.
Because we already know that's an automatic L right there. Automatic L, man. Because automatic. I'm not gonna say automatic because them boys did get beat by Troy, but that is a good point though, Jacob. We always have to go to them, but I think that makes a big argument when it comes to what conference dominates who, because we're always going into their house and whooping their ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're whooping your ass at home. So I think that makes a more logical and reasonable response to say that SEC is the best conference because no matter where we at, we can be in my backyard, we can be in your backyard, anywhere, SEC's going to come out on top.
Also, I feel like week one with LSU versus Clemson and Texas versus Ohio State, it's really going to shape how people view the conferences as well. Because if Texas and LSU goes out there and dominates, you really can't say nothing about the SEC anymore because the two top teams in the SEC go against two top teams in the ACC and the Big Ten, and they go out and lose. I mean. And it only further pushes the agenda that I currently think as well, that the SEC is better.
Attention, I think that game there because Clemson's ranked number 4, LSU's number 9. I think this is as big game as Ohio State and Texas. Just because, like you said, they have a more argument at hand with these two because they're both Tigers, both named Death Valley. I mean, so I think it's going to be a little bit more meaning to it. So I'm actually this is one of my games that I'm actually looking forward to watching. I'm hoping I can stay up and watch the rest of it, but I'm excited to see because it's going to be some real ball playing. And I think they do match up when it comes to athletes. I do say though that LSU has a slight upper hand when it comes to the wide receiver core and running backs, though. But like I said, I still think it's going to be a good matchup.
I do think
sure.
LSU is going to have some issue with the O line because with them losing that, with them using Will Campbell, and they're losing three other linemen as well that went to the draft.
So LSU did lose a lot on the line, and Clemson returned. So that's the biggest question. It's like Clemson's D line versus LSU's O line is one of the things like I literally have circled to watch because that's going to make or break the game. Because Clemson again's got some dogs on that D line. They are very, very solid team on that D line. So it's going to be something interesting to watch. And then the last game, it's the last kickoff of the night. One game that I'm interested in to watch just because of what happened over the year, and two, it's a Big 10, Big 12 matchup. You got Utah, UCLA. That's a game I'm gonna watch. It's a 10 p.m. kick for me. For y'all, I think it's is it a 9 p.m. or is it a 10 p.m. 8 p.m. kickoff for y'all?
8 p.m.
So I'm very interested to see that one just because I'm ready to see what Nico does. UCLA's been talking a lot of hype about Nico since he transferred in. Nico kind of dramatically left Tennessee over the summer. It was a very weird situation for a Heisman caliber. What we thought coming into the season was going to be Tennessee's returning. They're a playoff team, returning their quarterback, like sitting them up, like everything looked great. And then all of a sudden, your quarterback's leaving, jumping into the transfer portal. So I'm very interested to see how that game plays just because I kind of want to see what Nico does. Did the drama is UCLA telling the truth? Like he's opened up and become a better quarterback at UCLA because he did have some huge misses when he was at Tennessee, or is it kind of how that going to play, and UCLA being in the Big 10, Utah being in the Big 12. Utah's one of those teams that you never underestimate. They always have a solid team. And again, kind of like what we've been talking about, we're having a lot of conference to conference games that could potentially shape how the playoff committee looks at these games towards the end of the year, because now we can say, well, they didn't play this team, but they had played this team who played this team. So now we got this head-to-head that how they play. And yes, it was at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year, but like still we can kind of tweak our picking a little bit toward it. So that one's just going to be another interesting game that I'm kind of ready to see. And it's the last game of the night. Am I going to stay up for it? Because like I said, it's the 10 o'clock kickoff for me. I'm going to try to, but I'm also going to be up watching every single game. College game day, Lee Corso's last college game day. Like I'm going to be up all day watching football. So I don't know if I'll make it to the end of that game, but I'm excited to see it just because of some of the things surrounding everything that kind of went into that one.
Okay, can I kind of sidetrack us real quick?
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about this being Lee Corso's last college game day?
Torn. And the reason I say torn is I love Lee Corso, and I think he was a part of the reason college game day is what college game day is today. Like what he did, like his energy. I used to love waking up on Saturdays and watching them. But the reason I'm torn is it's a bittersweet moment because it's almost like he should have gone
before
maybe 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I hate saying that, but he lost his luster after some of his health issues. He lost his luster. It wasn't the same Lee Corso. And there were so many times where I was like, hey, like let's and I kind of hate that they did a last game day. Like I wish last season they said this is his last ride and let every school he went to give him his flowers and all that kind of stuff. But to say, oh, we're going to give you one more game. Like I hated how they did that. I wish they gave him a last ride, but also that last ride should have been 2-3 years ago.
How do you also feel like them not hosting it at his at Florida State for him? I feel like they could at least done that. Like even though I know that Ohio State and Texas is a big game, but at least for the man that I feel like that's the reason people usually watch college game day was because of Lee Corso. They wanted to see who he was going to pick.
They wanted his antics. I mean, even not so fast, my friend. Like you wanted everything with him. So it's bittersweet. I love Lee Corso. Like I love College Game Day, and he's one of the big reasons why I loved College Game Day. But again, they should have gave him a last year. And I know his family and stuff were a little bit upset about that because they all thought the same thing. I wish they would have gave him a last year because it would have been crazy. It would have been cool to see how each school honored him when he showed up on their campus. But you kind of robbed us of that. I think you robbed us of that because of honestly, I think it came down to money and different things. And you let it go on too long. If you would have said, hey man, it's time, but I think they were trying to find their crew. And now that I think they feel like they have a crew
with Pat replacing him,
we got to get him out. But it's like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Wrap it up today. We're going to get into our picks for this week. So we picked 7 games. We picked 7 games to look at. I'm going to give everybody kind of their little piece to say about why they pick who they pick. But that first game we picked, it's the obvious game to pick. It's where College Game Day is going to be at. It's at Ohio State, Texas game. So the way I feel about it, I think personally, I kind of hinted at this earlier. I think it's going to be who makes the least amount of mistakes. And I think that Texas is going to pull it out. And the reason I think Texas is going to pull it out is I think Arch is going to put them – I don't think he's going to do anything crazy to win the game, but I think he's not going to do anything crazy to lose the game. And I think Texas is going to win it out on my end. So that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to that one. But I'd like to pass it on to y'all to see where y'all at.
It's hard to say, man, because there's no solid answer to who has the edge over this team, like over each other.
Yep.
There's no there's no playmaker. Oh, this person is going to make this game a game. He's going to be the one that's going to be the deciding factor. Only person I can say though for Ohio State is Caleb Downs on defense, where it's going to matter most. But with Julian saying he's a question mark at this point. But with that being said, I gotta go Texas.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Texas by 2 touchdowns. It's gonna be close.
2?
Yeah, it's gonna be close in the first half. It's gonna be close in the first half. But second half they're gonna pull away because I think Ohio State, they lost too many people on defense. Julian, I think he's gonna get rattled by Texas defense. I think he's gonna get rattled, and he's gonna get a little shooken up. He's gonna make some mistakes, and that's gonna leave Texas to Texas gonna go down, score. Julian's gonna throw like an interception, fumble, something. Something's gonna happen, and then Texas is gonna end it out and ice the game with another score, and it's gonna be over with.
That's a bold prediction with the game being in Ohio State. That's a bold prediction.
I mean, they lost to Michigan and Ohio State, so I mean that don't mean nothing.
I feel you there. Cool. And then so we kind of, the way we break our games down each week, we're going to pick the College Game Day game, and then we'll go through the different teams. So the ACC matchup that we kind of picked out with that LSU Clemson game, another top 10 matchup. You got to kind of talk about it. Me personally, I think Clemson's returning back a lot. They were a playoff team last year. I got Clemson pulling this out, especially playing at home. It's just Dabo Swinney has those boys playing good football. I think LSU has a phenomenal team. I just think early in the season, that defensive line, the question marks at offensive line for LSU, I think Clemson pulls it out.
All right. You okay over there, Johnny Sachs?
I can't believe my ears, man. I can't believe my ears, bro. I'm disappointed in you, man. I'm disappointed. You telling me the firepower that LSU has is not enough for Clemson? That's what you're saying. He's what you're picking with, right?
That's what I'm sticking with.
All right, well, I think LSU got what it takes to beat Clemson.
All right.
Walk in your trap, take over your trap.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say, you know, I'm a firm believer in the SEC. Always will be to the day I die. But I'm gonna go with the past and what the past has told me every time. LSU can't win the first game to save their life for Brian Kelly. They cannot win the first game to save their life. They gonna look good in the first half, and they gonna fall apart in the second. Give me Clemson. Take it home.
Okay.
I think Clemson's gonna win it by like a field goal. I wish the best for LSU. I want LSU to win, but I think for my pick'ems, I'm gonna take Clemson to win by 3.
Okay. Cool.
Okay,
All right,
I
and
like
then
that one, David.
that SEC matchup that we kind of like. That again, another big game. The Alabama Florida State game. Me personally, I
don't even think this needs a. I don't even think this needs a belt the booty.
This one's gonna be ugly.
Booty.
I think Florida State said too much in the offseason. I personally think Bama has been quiet, humble. They haven't been capping. They've been quiet, and it's a different feeling coming through there. Bama by 3 touchdowns.
You said 3? I think you forgot to add a 0 by it. I think.
Oh yeah, you forgot the 0, big dog.
Bama by 30.
What's in that cup, man? He's by 3. Oh God, man!
And that's with the second string in. That we're not counting the first string.
Caleb the boy, run him over, do him over. Bama by 3 touchdowns.
Hey, you heard what what's his name been saying? Ryan Williams. He said we're gonna hear the band be played a lot this year. So I'm ready to hear it.
Bama by 3 touchdowns.
3. I think at least 5.
I
think he's gonna be 48-14.
I can see that. I can actually see that, to be honest with you, because Bama has a point to prove that is going to be setting tone for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Another big game that we didn't hit on earlier that I think is going to have some good implications. We probably didn't hit on it. It's a Friday night game, but that Auburn Baylor game, another SEC Big 12 matchup. Friday night, it's going to be very interesting to see. I don't know how y'all feel, but I personally think with the way, and maybe it's to make people calm down, but kind of the stuff I'm hearing from Auburn's camp about their quarterback situation, their offense in general, I don't think they're prepared for this Baylor game. I think Baylor's going to pull it out, especially it's at Baylor. So they'll be up there in Waco. I think Baylor pulls this one out.
I'll go ahead. I'll start it off. I'm gonna have to go with Auburn. I think Auburn, even though they're gonna have some issues, I still think they're gonna out athlete them. I feel like they're just gonna have more athletes. I think Auburn's defense, though, their defense gonna be really good. I think they're gonna be really good. I did hear that they might be playing 3 quarterbacks in one game.
They got 3 different coaches calling each play. They got a coach that calls first down, a coach that calls second down, a coach that calls third down.
Yeah. I think they're gonna for fourth down. I think they're gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle on offense, but I think their defense is gonna get them some good necessary turnovers, and they're gonna help win them the game. They're gonna be like, I hate to say it, my Steelers out there. They're gonna be a defensive heavy team, and the offense is gonna pick up the little pieces here and there.
You gotta do all that to win, man. Like that don't even. that just turns my stomach, man.
What happened to the Auburn I used to know?
Did you know them?
I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't. I didn't really know. 2 Auburn, 1 Baylor, and then what you working with, Johnny Sacks?
The 3 quarterback situation, man, like the instability that comes with that playing in a live game. Nobody can get on a groove if you 3 quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks, hard enough just as it is, but 3.
But
how you get your star wide receiver to get them cooking? I don't even want to say this, to be honest with you, but I'm gonna go with Auburn.
Okay, 3-1.
right, cool. Well, then we got another game we picked, that Big Ten matchup. We got Cincinnati versus Nebraska. Very interested to see this. Nebraska has been talking a little bit in the media, and I'm kind of ready to see their coach a little bit on the hot seat. Everybody's ready to see what he's going to do. So I'm ready to kind of see how that plays out. So me personally, though, looking at this game, I am leaning towards Nebraska. I'm going to go with Nebraska on this one. I think they're going to get it done. I think they're looking to make a statement, trying to say they're back. They're a blue blood, but I think they're slowly losing that blue blood status. But I think they're looking to bring it back this year. So I'm ready to see what they got to do.
Okay, I'm going to go with Nebraska as well. I think from what I've been reading about them, they got a solid O-line. They're very not very heavy offense. They like to control the game, like a lot of possessions. I saw that they picked up a few receivers. Yeah, they picked up a few receivers for their quarterback. I feel like Matt Rule, that's their coach, correct? I think he's also, he's been saying a lot of stuff, especially last year about NIL stuff that they need. I think they got some money this year as well. So we're gonna see what he can do. I feel like Jamie said, he's on the hot seat as well, because he's been complaining about we need more money, and they got some money and they got the players now. Let's see what you do with them. I think Nebraska wins it.
It was short and simple. I'm going with Cincinnati.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna hit with Cincinnati on that one.
Okay, I see it.
Cool.
So
and then we like to ready. What'd you say?
He's losing this week. We're
gonna see, Jacob.
So we got another Thursday night kickoff. We kind of played some homage, as you can see, on the shirt. We got our UAB versus Alabama State, which is in-state little matchup. Alabama State Hornets. We all from that area. We know a lot about the Hornets. They're HBCU team. Got a lot of history. My wife absolutely loves the Honeybees, which if you ain't ever heard of the Honeybees, they're worth the YouTube. They're a dance team, and they're part of their requirements. I think you have to be over 240 pounds to be on the dance team and do a split and a cartwheel. Those are the requirements to be there. But when I say that, I don't mean no disrespect. These are some of the best dancing ladies, and when they step on that field, the whole crowd goes crazy. I absolutely love it. My wife literally has a picture frame with the Honeybees from the last time UAB played Alabama State. So, but anyway, I like both of them. I am very curious. UAB, we are on rocky standing when it comes to football right now. Trent Dilfer, our coach. I'm very, very excited with the potential of what he could do when we originally hired him, but he made some hiring decisions that I think were questionable with kind of the staff he brought in. And I think the jump from high school to college, I think he underestimated it just a little bit, especially with some of his staff choices, originally bringing in his high school defensive coordinator too and stuff like that. Like, you just needed some help. He is on a hot seat. For sure. I was at the game. We went into the game day, and literally he had a booth and there was nobody lined up at his booth. All the fans are kind of frustrated with them. He made my wife a little frustrated because nobody was saying nothing to him. I said hey to him. I was like, hey, coach. While he's walking by, he walked by me at first and didn't acknowledge me for a second. And I was like, man, you walk past 40 fans and nobody said nothing. I'm the one fan to say something. But then he did stop 5 yards later and turn around and was like, oh, hey, how's it going? But it made my wife mad because, again, the fans were not – your head coach is walking beside you, and the fans are not saying a word to him. And me, like I said, I got faith in my team. I try to put trust in my coach, so I wanted to speak to him. But he made my wife a little frustrated with that one. But – again, we still got signed football, signed posters, all that kind of good stuff. So I'm rocking with my Blazers because I do think we're just going to out-athlete or not. I won't say out-athlete. I think we're going to out.
Pick your words wisely now.
We are going. I won't say out-athlete. I think we have the depth to eventually pull away from this one. I think we have the resources to pull away at the end of this one. Will it be exciting first quarter? Yep. But then the second quarter, it's going to be, we're going to take care of business and we're going to get that W. So.
Okay, I have a question because I've been reading about y'all replace y'all's whole DB room, like y'all whole DB room in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And y'all coming off of 2 losing seasons. Okay. I really want to believe in your team. Should I really believe in your team? I'm trying to get
my team for the rest of the year, but believe in my team versus the FCS opponent. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with the UAB. I seen y'all picked up some dogs in the transfer portal. Yeah, y'all picked up some dogs in the transfer.
Our running back solid. Yep. We got a good receiving room. We have a quarterback who, due to injuries, got to play the second half of the season. So I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, okay.
There are a lot of question marks.
I've been reading y'all been struggling, but y'all picked up some good guys, and I think y'all might out athlete them. So I'm gonna go with UAB. Okay.
Damn it, you spoke about you gonna stick with the home team, but you really ain't sticking with the home team because you knew of Bama State before UAB, correct?
Where did I go to school at?
It's right down the road. But then, Damien, you not think about we had some guys from Wetumpka go to Bama State. You know, Keywan Riley. Then you got the dog, DeMario Bell. And I still think he one of the best athletes to ever come out of Wetumpka. My personal opinion. And then here lately we had linebacker from Wetumpka, Bubba, right?
Bubba.
Yep. So, yeah. So like I said, you know, I'm rocking with the home team for real. And I gotta go Bama State.
Like I said,
Mario.
Like I said, his pick'ems, he is cooked. He is cooked for his pick'ems.
Oh, tell me, look, I'm gonna make a phone call to DeMario and Q1 right now. I don't know Q1 number, but I'm gonna say, look, y'all need to go talk to them boys because I done picked them. And look, we gotta make something work. So I think Bama State gonna get that one.
Is that UAB?
So if it turns,
it's in Birmingham. UAB? It's in Birmingham.
Oh yeah, nah.
So I'll be at the game. So if your prediction does come true, I'm gonna be a very, very unhappy camper.
Well, get ready to be unhappy.
But and then the last game we're gonna pick, we picked a non-Power 5 matchup that interests us. It's actually a non-Power 5 playing a Power 5, but we got Florida Atlantic versus Maryland. I personally think that Maryland's just going to take care of this one. Florida Atlantic's a solid team and always is a solid team. I like what Maryland's got going on. I think they've been in rebuild mode, but I kind of like what Maryland's got going on. I'm interested to see how they play, and I just think it's not going to be enough for Florida Atlantic they don't have enough to kind of go over. So I'm riding with Maryland on that one.
I think, yeah, at the end of the day, Maryland got the money and resources that they can't match up with. So I'm going to go with Maryland all the way.
I'm going to go Maryland as well. I'm seeing right now the Florida Atlantic, they're getting a new coach, new defensive coordinator, they getting new everything. I think they're going to start off a little rough this year. They maybe pick it up, but
it's just
not
it's rough.
First game.
Opening game is rough.
Yeah,
rough
it's too much.
So.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, that's kind of it for our scheduled program. I leave the floor open every day at the end of every kind of podcast to see if y'all have anything on y'all's hearts y'all need to get out, y'all need to say kind of before we wrap everything up.
I don't give a damn about nothing but the time, buddy. All right, but I would have to say I'm still gonna hold true to my prediction last week. Big Ten's not gonna be nothing this year. Gonna be hot trash. Texas gonna go in there, beat the brakes off of Ohio State. But Clemson gonna get that work in. Who else? Baylor gonna get that work in. Who is Georgia playing? I think Georgia playing like
Marshall.
Marshall. I mean, I guess they gonna put some work in. So I think the SEC just gonna win all weekend. So that's my prediction. That's all I gotta say.
I just think it's gonna be a good first week, man. I'm excited. A good official first week of college football, man. Like I said, you got a lot of top matchups this first week, and I think it's gonna be very exciting and good opening weekend. Like I said, I'm gonna be glued to the TV all day, so I can't wait to wake up 6:30 in the morning, 8:00, college game day on, man. I mean, I'm just excited for this college football season. We back, baby.
For sure. Yeah, no, for real. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in and checking us out over here at the 4J's podcast, where again we're just four voices, endless takes, pure comedy. If you have any questions or anything like that, want to reach out to us, send us a comment, like, follow, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. And we'll see y'all next week.
Deuces.